When we left Fuglafjord yesterday, half the plan was to take the weather window if it presented itself and sail straight to the UK mainland. But that didn't work out. And on this trip, we kind of believe that everything happens for the best. And if this doesn't prove that point, I have no idea what does. Welcome to a place with a name that I can't pronounce on Suduroy. I'll try in the fullness of time, but not yet. So it's a pretty snug spot in here. You can see the kelp floating there, which has come to the surface as we've got pretty shallow. If we look down here, see the kelp under the water, and the bottom is not far down. So basically what we've got is about 5 feet of water there, and it shelves down about here to where the keel is. So we put this marker down here, this paintbrush, so we knew that we couldn't come further forward than that, so the keel is sitting in the deep spots. We are at the bottom of the tide and we have about 10 centimetres under the keel. Well, here we go for our little walk around the town before we leave this beautiful little spot on Suduroy. Lovely day. We've been blessed with some sunshine on this visit here, haven't we?
Because of you, the song is in my head now.
Oh, you have to sing it then. Go on, sing it. You can't sing it, it's too rude.
No.
We really didn't have much time to explore this place beginning with tea. Just enough time to poke our noses around and fantasise about owning a property overlooking the fjord. Our stop here was an unexpected bonus, but soon we had to say our goodbyes.
Here we are in
Tvoroyri.
Well done, Asha, taking one for the team. I can't say that. We've come ashore, it's about 5 p.m. and we are due to head off at 2 a.m. bound for the UK. Hopefully Faroe Isles, but maybe southern part of Shetland, depending what the wind does for us. So this really is our goodbye to the Faroe Islands. We've been here nearly 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We've had a wonderful time here. We absolutely love this land so much, and we will be back.
Absolutely.
The Faroe Islands were always the focal point of this trip. I felt inexplicably and irresistibly drawn to them. They magnetised me and drew me into their reality, which was far better than my hopes and dreams. The moral of this story? Well, you know. Here we are, 17 hours into a wonderful passage south, being joined by plenty of curious kittiwakes along the way.
Ash is about to go for her off-shift part. I get to watch the failing lights. Funny old place to be actually, I think, on a boat by day. It's a weird way to spend a day. You don't really look at the clock. Time seems to go slowly, but then all of a sudden the day is over.
The sea up here may be vast, but empty it is not. On the way down from the Faroe Islands there are lots of oil platforms with their supply vessels standing by, and by night they light up the sky like a city.
It's a very dark night tonight. There are no stars out, no moon. There's a lot of fog. Dark, damp, long nights like this. You look forward to them being over.
With a little bit of coffee with the excitement that we can see Faroe Isles on the horizon.
So last night did feel like a very long and very dark night. We certainly noticed the longer hours that it stays dark for compared to when we sailed up to the Faroe Islands from Stornoway, where it never really got dark. I'm off shift, Asher is on, although I'm not going anywhere because I've got myself a Sunday morning coffee and Baileys. I turned on my telephone and got welcome to Iceland's text message from EE. Fortunately, I don't think we have gone the wrong way. We should be okay.
The Faroese flag is down now for this season, and we are flying the quarantine flag.
So are we going to put that flag up again, do you think?
Oh, definitely, and I will be so happy to do that.
In the current global situation of confusing rules, regulations and laws, there's only one law you can really rely on, and that is Sod's Law. Here we are heading towards the North Haven, which is through that gap in the rocks ahead. Sod's Law meant that the visibility closed in and ensured we arrived outside at the precise time when the tide is running the hardest, making for confused seas and a nerve-wracking entrance to this small harbour.
On approach, our fender board snapped like a match, but luckily we could borrow a shitload of fenders.
This wasn't really a glamorous arrival in Faroe Isle. The harbour wall was occupied by a huge barge that was there because of the installation of a water treatment works on the island. Luckily for us, the skipper of the tug realised that this jetty was less than ideal for us, so he asked us if we would prefer to moor alongside him, an offer we very gratefully accepted.
I've been looking at some of these sheep very precariously on the cliff tops and wondering how they do it, and some don't. There's a entire sheep carcass here, skull over there, obviously fallen in off a cliff and washed up on this beach here. What's gone wrong with you? System malfunction.
We had a bit of a wander around, but we didn't go far. Instead, I contemplated the next day. The tug needed to turn the barge around so the cranes could be loaded back onto it, and that meant that we would have to move off and put the anchor down. This made me pretty nervous because the anchorage is very tight and the forecasted wind for the next day was 30 to 35 knots.
Well, we have now moved and we've anchored in this very, very tight spot here. We dropped the hook just clear of the reef there, just to keep well clear of the tug as he's manoeuvring the barge today. It's been an awesome skipper on there, because we are basically going to sit out here, and then when they finish their manoeuvring we're going to go back alongside, which is cool because this anchorage is tight. Ashley did really, really well keeping the boat head to wind while I dropped the anchor. Good bit of skill going on right there. Big breeze here, 1,000-ton barge, one tug.
To be honest, this was not a very relaxing time. It was nice and calm in the harbour because the wind was coming from the south, but it was funneling through the gaps in the land, and we had many gusts of 35 to 40 knots while we were at anchor.
A little nerve-wracking bit has commenced as we get pushed around by the prop wash from the tug, swinging backwards and forwards, nearer and nearer to the cliff. The Rockner is on a relatively short scope. We wouldn't normally have it on this much short scope, so we're just trying to keep an idea of what's going on. And whenever I'm scared at anchor, I eat pancakes, and Ash has got the first lot, and when I'm not scared of what's going on here, I'll make mine. Are they good?
Delicious.
Good.
Well, let me tell you, pancakes sorted everything out. Soon the manoeuvres were over and we were able to go back alongside the tug. We tried to do it gently, but 35 knots on the beam meant that we had a bit of a crash landing, but with the big fenders all was okay. The next day at 7:30 in the morning we made our escape from Faroe Isle.
I am pretty pleased to be on the way back out to sea, bound for Peterhead, mainland UK, after 6 nights of very dubious sleep for the pair of us due to passage and very, very snatchy, rolly harbours. I can't wait to be tied up in a sheltered marina, eating on, sleeping for 12 hours.
Oh, me too.
That comes in 24 or 36 hours time.
Our time here was just a little bit stressful, but I have to say that we are very grateful to the guys on Coastworker. If it wasn't for them, our time would have been a lot tougher indeed. They were superb guys that were really considerate to our safety, even though they had their own work to do. As we cruised out, we saw some of the beautiful scenery that we had missed on the way in because of the fog. This made us forget some of the challenges that went the day before, which included the windlass breaking down and getting the anchor caught under a rock. But these are just some of the things you have to deal with in this wonderful sailing life. I think Faroe Isles are a real tick in the box for me, and I mean no disrespect to the island, but I won't be rushing back just because that was a tense few days in that harbour. Didn't feel, I know it was a safe harbour, but it didn't feel like that, did it? Yesterday we had some action at anchor and we had to keep clear of the barge. With massive rock in front of us, huge cliff to the side of us, boulders behind us on the lee shore, and 40 knots of breeze. A windlass that stopped working and an anchor that got caught on a rock. We had a lot of challenges yesterday, so I'm happy that we're at sea, surrounded by soft stuff, bound for Peterhead. It's been a long time since I've sat up here and looked out to sea. I think the last time was when we'd just seen whales around the Mull of Kintyre, and that was nearly 900 miles ago. And the time before that, I believe, was on the way to Falmouth. Well, this time we've got the full crew on the foredeck. Last time we sat on this foredeck was on the way to Land's End, wasn't it?
It was.
And here we are with a sun on our face, and that is a warm sun. I don't need this hat on at all. It is lovely and warm.
So warm.
There isn't any wind, but it's going to build, and hopefully within 6 hours or so we'll be sailing towards our destination. But why not sit out here in complete privacy, out of sight of land, and enjoy this late year warmth. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Stunning. There is an oil drilling platform in the distance, and now after sunset the lights are visible.
Beautiful sunset here in Peterhead Marina. We're very happy to be safely tucked up here. After a bumpy few nights at Faroe Isle, never been so happy to see a marina and a big concrete wall keeping us safe from any waves rolling in. Back on the UK mainland after a pretty cool adventure up north. It's a happy ship. It's always a happy ship, but it's a very happy ship. Being back on the UK mainland felt very special indeed. We had sailed ourselves out of our comfort zone and returned with memories that we will cherish for a lifetime. Thank you as always for watching. By making these videos and sharing them online, you have become part of this journey, and we hope you have enjoyed coming along for the ride. Please join us next time as we sail further south, closer to home waters. Altor out. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning. Asher's warning! She's getting angry. Wants some
I don't get angry when I want.
Yes, you do.